Hello friends. Welcome to Learners Tube. In the previous video, I have discussed some basic concepts in engineering mechanics, and we had discussed what is the definition and what are the branches that exist in engineering mechanics, and also what those branches works for and what it deals with. That all I briefly discussed, and also we discussed some basic units, and we are in the topic of laws of mechanics. I already discussed about Newton's first law and second law, and Newton's third law and principle of transmissibility of forces. Now in this video we will discuss about gravitational law of attraction and parallelogram law. First of all, let's go for gravitational law of attraction. What is meant by gravitational law of attraction? Gravitational law of attraction is nothing but two bodies will be attracted towards each other with a force which is directly proportional to product of their masses and inversely proportional to square of the distance between their centers. Here in this figure you can observe clearly two bodies m1 and m2 with masses m1 and m2. The force of attraction between these two bodies, is directly proportional to product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between their centers. If r is the distance between their centers, then it is inversely proportional to square of the distance between the centers. Next, if that proportionality can be written as F is proportional to m1 into m2 and inversely proportional to r square. To remove this proportionality, we add some constant, that is g. This g constant is called universal gravitational constant, and the units of that universal gravitational constant is Newton meter square per kg square or meter cube per kg second square. Units of every physical quantity is important in engineering mechanics. You have to concentrate on the units of every physical quantity. What are the units of force, what are the units of g, what are the units of m, and what are the units of r. Everything you have to remember. And according to some theorems or some results, we can say that the value of g is 6.67 into 10 to the power of minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. Now from this gravitational law we can also determine weight of a body. What is meant by weight of a body? Weight of a body is defined as it is nothing but the force of attraction between the body and the earth. Right? Weight is nothing but it is due to the effect of gravitation of the earth. So it is nothing but the force of attraction between a body and earth. If a body falls, it is due to the weight and the gravitation. So weight of a body is mainly due to the gravitational force and the earth. So if a body, you have to find the weight of a body. So the mass of a body I am taking as m, and the mass of the earth I am taking as me. G is universal constant, and r is nothing but radius of the earth. Why? Because from the r is actually the distance between centers of two bodies. That means center of earth to center of the body. Center of earth to the outer surface is nothing but the radius of the earth. You can ask, what is the height of this substance from earth? When you compare the radius of the earth, this distance is negligible. So that's why we are considering the distance between two centers of the body as the radius of the earth. Okay, so from that we can write the formula W is equal to G into me into m by r square. So by substituting the value of mass of earth, radius of the earth, and the g value, we can get and solve. By solving all the numbers, you can get W is equal to 9.81 m newtons. So W is equal to mg. So by using gravitational law of attraction, you can able to find the weight of an body. Okay. Then what is the next law of mechanics? Law of parallelogram of forces. This is very important topic. The entire subject will run on this topic only. So you have to listen carefully and you have to remember this topic. First of all, what is meant by law of parallelogram of forces? The definition indicates the law of parallelogram forces states that if two forces acting at a point be represented in magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides of parallelogram, then the resultant is represented by the diagonal passing through the point. That means if two forces, first let us understand the concept, then we will go again through the definition. If a force P is acting and if a force Q is acting, if you take these two forces as the sides of parallelogram, either in magnitude and direction, force is a vector quantity. If I consider Q as a force, it has both magnitude Q and direction this direction. So if you consider these two as the sides of parallelogram, then the resultant of the force will be diagonal of this parallelogram. Here you can get a new term. What is that? Resultant. So what is meant by resultant? Resultant is nothing but when two or more forces acting on a body, when two or four more forces acting on a body, the action or the result which these two forces showing on this body is combinedly shown by some other force, that is resultant force. For example, here on the surface there is a body. A force is acting and B force is acting. Due to this A force and B force, there will definitely some effect on this body. So if you can replace the A force and B force combinedly with other force and single force, that is R. That means the effect which is shown by the both forces A and B can single force can show the same effect, that is R. That is called resultant of the force. Resultant of the force is nothing but you can replace any number of forces with a single force which shows the same effect on the body. Okay, that is called resultant. That means wherever I can draw the resultant, I can replace these two forces with this resultant force. How you can find out that resultant force magnitude? Whether the resultant force magnitude equal to Q or equal to P. What is the direction of that resultant force? Here when you observe, the direction of Q is this side, the direction of Q is P is this side. Now what will be the direction of the R? Whether it will follow the Q direction or whether it follow the P direction. So to find that, we use the parallelogram law. Now come to the definition once again. If two forces acting at a point be represented as sides of a parallelogram, say Q, P, two forces sides of a parallelogram, then the resultant is represented as diagonal of that parallelogram. Okay, so this is very important concept, you have to follow properly. Now to find that resultant of what is the magnitude of the resultant and what will be the direction, just I draw the direction of the resultant is like this. So what will be the direction? That direction nothing but theta. That means the angle we are measuring. So that angle I am calling it as theta. So what is the angle of the R with respect to P and what is the magnitude of that R? To find out that, we have some derivation below here. Observe that. Now I am taking that triangle, that is force P and force Q. See in this figure, observe carefully, we have figure PQ. The resultant force is R. We have to find out the magnitude of resultant. So what I am doing, according to the parallelogram law, I am drawing a parallelogram by drawing this two sides. Okay, and the angle of total parallelogram is alpha and the direction made by R with P is theta. So after that, I am dropping a perpendicular from C to D and that perpendicular angle is 90 degrees. As this angle is completely alpha, this angle also become alpha because these two sides are parallel sides and this is a transversal. It is the basic maths. Okay, so the angle is alpha degrees. Now from the triangle ACD, you can observe that sine alpha is equal to, sine, what is meant by sine? Opposite side by hypotenuse. So sine alpha is equal to CD by AC. Okay, so from that CD is equal to AC sine alpha. What is nothing but AC? It is nothing but Q. Both are parallel side. That's why it becomes Q. So CD is equal to Q sine alpha. Similarly, if you apply cos alpha, then it becomes, cos alpha is nothing but adjacent side by hypotenuse. That is AD is equal to Q cos alpha. Now from the triangle OCD, hypotenuse square is equal to side square plus other side square. So what is the hypotenuse value? R. From this triangle, see, from this triangle, R square is equal to OD square plus CD square. Okay, that's what here. So OD square is nothing but OA plus AD whole square plus CD square. By substituting all the values and by deriving that, we can get the formula R is equal to square root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos alpha. Very, very important formula for the mechanics subject. Very, very important. Then what is the direction of R? That is theta. To find the theta, I am taking this triangle OCD. Applying tan theta, as it is a right angle triangle, tan theta. What is tan theta? Opposite side by adjacent side. That is CD by OD. CD is nothing but Q sine alpha. OD is nothing but P plus Q cos alpha, which we observe before derivation, derivation. So theta is equal to tan inverse of Q sine alpha by P plus Q cos alpha. This is also important. Okay, now in this derivation we have two other cases. What are those two other cases? First case, if alpha is equal to 90 degrees. The second case is P is equal to Q. What if the alpha is 90 degrees? What is meant by alpha 90? It is P, it is Q. Alpha is 90 degrees. That means the parallelogram becomes right angle triangle. It is P, it is Q, and the angle is 90 degrees. What if two forces acting at right angle? What will be the resultant of the force? By substituting the alpha value as 90 degrees in the above equation, where you got the formula of R is equal to P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos alpha, you can get as cos 90 value is 0, R value is equal to square root of P square plus Q square. This is very, very important. You have to observe one more thing here, as it is P, horizontal force is P, vertical force is Q. The resultant force will be square root of horizontal force square plus vertical force square. That means whenever you have two forces as horizontal force, for example H1, H2, whenever you have two forces vertical V1, V2, then the resultant will become square root of horizontal 1 plus horizontal 2 whole square plus vertical 1 plus vertical 2 whole square. This will become the new formula. This is very, very important. You have to remember that. So horizontal square plus vertical square, which is nothing but P square plus Q square. Similarly, if alpha becomes 90 degrees, what will be the direction? By substituting those values, you get tan inverse of Q by P. Okay, now coming to the second case. If two forces are equal, that is P equal to Q, then what happens if P equal to Q, substituting or replacing Q with P, then you will derive the above formula and you will get the formula as R equal to 2P cos alpha by 2, theta is equal to alpha by 2. Here you have to apply some basic trigonometric formulas, as 1 plus cos alpha is equal to 2 cos square alpha by 2. This comes from the formula cos 2 alpha. This also comes under the formula sin 2 alpha. So by applying some basic trigonometric formulas, you can get this derivations. This is about the parallelogram law, very important. These are the law of mechanics. Once this parallelogram law completed, you have to know about triangular law and Lam's theorem, which we will discuss in the next video. If you like my explanation, please like my channel, share and subscribe to my channel for the new topics. Thank you.